I must say so myself, that's quite a supra job at introducing to us the gist or the soul behind Miss Philippines.
You really packed a lot of puns for today's special.
I'm on a roll.
We love it. We love everything. But we're gonna love what's gonna happen up next to talk more about the Miss Philippines culture and heritage celebration. Of course, let's hear it from our spokespersons themselves. Let us all welcome our queens and my queen sisters, Miss Supranational Philippines, Pauline Amalangs, and Miss Charm Philippines, Krishna Gravido.
Round of applause. Thank you, Pauline and Krishna. Let's have our seats taken. Maybe a few photo opportunities there. All right, let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? Now, I know that everybody in the audience has been waiting for this. So it's about time to bring out and ask some questions. Well, some is an understatement, I would say. But these ladies definitely came prepared. So, Pauline and Krishna are quite ready to provide you with all the information that you need. Not just for the media, but also for the aspiring beauty queens who dream of clinching this much coveted title. Want to take on the reins, Pauline?
Yes, sure. How is the flow gonna go? Do you have a list of the questions there, or will they raise their hand?
I'm just kidding. Once again, we would like to ask you guys to share a few sentiments with us this afternoon.
Okay. Now, I haven't seen the videos yet that were played on screen earlier, but they really took me back to the homecoming, and I had a little stone in my throat. You know that feeling where, oh my God, I'm gonna cry again. But no, it was so nice to relive those moments through that beautiful video. And it really shows that the Philippines, in the many different corners, has so much to offer, which is something that the Miss Philippines Culture and Heritage Celebration will definitely be highlighting. So that's something that all of us could be excited about, to truly get to know our culture, not just its food, not just the fiesta. Tatlong F daw, food, fiesta, people, joke. Joke lang. But yes, of course, the people too. We get a chance to better know our culture in depth because of this new innovation in Philippine pageantry. So there's a lot for us to be excited about. I'm sure all of you have a lot of different questions. We were already briefed beforehand as to how it's gonna happen, but we were also told not to disclose everything yet. Para may exciting and surprise factor pa. So if you have any questions, so let me know if it was under the NDA or not. But for now, yes, I'm very happy that this amazing group of creatives has come up with a concept that not just focuses on the different delegates and what they can offer, but also what every province, every municipality also gets to offer in a more in-depth, in a more holistic way. Krishna?
Yes, I think you said everything, huh? I'm just really happy that this happened. We were briefed yesterday, and all of those segments that, no, we cannot disclose it, but it's something. But the part that there's no swimsuit category or segment, a lot of people were asking about that. But for me, it's very exciting because for me, there's so much more. There's so much more of us girls that can offer. There's so much more of our culture, of our arts and our crafts here in the Philippines. For example, in Baguio City, we close the session road the entire Sunday for the artists to practice their crafts. There are painters, there are singers, there are chalk draw, like they draw using a chalk. And you can see that all throughout the session row during Sundays. And those little things about the different cities, I think this Miss Philippines pageant will showcase that. And we cannot wait to show it to the whole world.
And indeed, you've shown it to
But yes, indeed, you've shown it throughout your journey, the way you have really reveled and showcased
the culture of your own provinces, but now you get to explore, to share, to showcase the culture of the whole Philippines, and I'm pretty sure everyone has your back in your endeavor to do so. And very interesting, everything that you've mentioned about the Miss Philippines Culture and Heritage Celebration. I know those are a part of the things that you can share, apart from the NBA as we're joking. But of course, we'd like to open the floor to our media friends who would love to ask our queens some question, anything that you'd love to know more about the Miss Philippines Culture and Heritage Celebration. And no better way to get the answers from our spokesperson themselves. So who would love to start? Who would love to start off our Q&A from our media friends? Any raise of hands? Yes, we have here for the Philippines. Yes, we have Royal. I'll go near and give you this mic. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, Pauline and Krishna. So, your question is, how is the Miss Philippines different from other pageants?
It's not the typical pageant wherein we will just, the candidates will just showcase their ramp, their wit or their charm. It's more about highlighting the culture, the arts, the heritage of the Philippines, because I believe that there are a lot of undiscovered arts, crafts, in the different cities of the Philippines. And I believe that this pageant has the capacity to highlight it and show it to the whole universe, the whole world rather.
One thing that was also briefed to us yesterday, which I'm sure we'll be allowed to disclose also, is that the Miss Philippines Culture and Heritage Celebration, what sets it apart now is that it's more keen in helping small businesses that have their own products be able to have a platform to then somehow show it to the rest of the Philippines, but because it's the Miss Philippines, they also get a chance to show it to the whole world. So it gives small business owners that have their own little recipes of distinct Filipino food or different products or crafts, gives them the opportunity to share that with so many more people and hopefully help them grow too in this pageant.
Coming from the queens themselves, well answered. Now, do I have another question coming from our media friends? Yes? Oh, there! I will try to approach you all.
The winners of the Miss Philippines will be sent to Miss Charm and Miss Supra, is that correct? And why no swimsuit? Isn't that dangerous for the ratings?
To answer the first part of your question, we were told, or we were briefed yesterday, that the winner actually gets a chance to choose which pageant that she decides to join, given that she still meets the certain requirements of that particular international pageant. And then the runners-up, if they decide to also join, they would be given an opportunity to. But of course, first take is the winner, of course. Come again?
One winner.
Yes, so far there's only one winner. And to answer the second part of your question, why there's no swimsuit, as Krishna said earlier, in terms of the pageant scene and in terms of pageant innovation, there really is so much more to pageantry than just the swimsuit portion. There will still be a swimsuit photo shoot that will still show the beautiful landscapes of the Philippines. But as part of the celebration or coronation itself, it's going to be a different segment that I'm sure all of you are very curious and excited about, so abangan nyo sa next release. And it also comes to show that we want to now shift the highlight of just the bodies or the sexiness and transition to promoting physique and athleticism too, which is I think one of the reasons why they decided to go in that direction too.
Yes, we have another question from our friend.
Yes. Hi, Pauline. I'm Melka Paras from Pageant Chronicle. My question is, what aspects of pageantry will the Miss Philippines retain?
There will be something like, okay wait, I have to be careful now. So there's still gonna be the similar segments that we have in the traditional pageancy. They will just be tweaked in certain ways to make sure that they really do promote more of our culture, more of our arts, and more of the Filipino artistic circle, if I can put it that way, to make sure that it's not just the segment itself that's being highlighted, but the people and the products and the art behind it too. And of course, many more actually, but cannot disclose those details yet.
Thank you so much for that. Very excited to finally find out about that question. We have another question right here for our queens.
Hi, this is Brian from Voice Local Pageant. So the question is, who is the next Miss Philippines Queen, and what qualities are you looking for those queens?
So, we are looking for someone who is so much knowledgeable about our culture. There will be a lot of Q&A segments, there will be a lot of conferences, and that candidate should embody the Filipino culture as well. It's not only about her face, her body, her gowns, her dresses. It's about how she thinks, how widely she thinks about the Philippines rather. And we're looking for someone who can stand up for our culture, who can proudly share what we have as Filipinos, our values, our cuisines, and also that queen also has a capability to support local businesses. And we want also to have a queen that really stands for the values of the Philippines.
And if I can add to that, I don't know if you were able to catch that in the video earlier, or if you were also briefed beforehand, but this pageant, the Miss Philippines, is now open also to Filipinas from Filipino communities outside of the Philippines. So it's an even bigger platform now to make sure or to see that our culture is being promoted, not just the culture within the Philippines, but also Filipino culture as it's seen in the different communities abroad, because that's still part of our culture that we bring to the other places.
I hope all the queens who are looking into joining have taken note of everything. Now I have a friend here approach me. You have a question?
Hey, Mabuhay. Congratulations. I'm Albert from Chicanes. My question is, of course, when you joined Miss Universe Philippines, your goal was the crown. But now that you have fully understood the requirements of the crown that you were assigned to for the Miss Philippines, do you think you are the most fitted person right now to wear that crown?
I assume you're speaking about the Miss Supranational. Yes, I'd definitely like to believe so. Miss Supranational is someone who's aspirational, inspirational, and after having been able to share my story, I have felt so many people reach out and say, oh my God, thank you, I do not feel alone in my struggle in getting body shape, for example. And I think being able to do that, being able to bring people together who share a similar story and collectively draw strength from that is something that makes me feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
For this charm Philippines, I have the longest time to prepare. Yeah, it will be next year back. But I think the Miss Philippines pageant is very in line with Miss Charm International, because Miss Charm also focuses on culture and arts. And I think this is a very good training ground for me as well to know more about the Philippines, because I will represent the Philippines well if I don't have enough knowledge to do so. So the Miss Philippines will be a great avenue for me to discover our local crafts, our local businesses, our world-class designers. And I think I'm very excited for it, and I will just continuously share my authentic self to Vietnam next year, and I hope that you will be with me as well.
Last question. Any thoughts on some beauty organizations not allowing girls to join the other pageants? Like if you're the winner of Miss Supra, you cannot anymore join Miss Universe.
I understand the thought of exclusivity there, but of course it would be it would be beneficial for everyone to not have our options be limited, to not have our growth be limited, of course. But that's a call for the organizations themselves. It is just up to us to somehow implore them to extend their borders also, if that's one way of putting it, to make sure that the growth of every individual isn't necessarily compromised or limited, because we all are capable of growing in so many different avenues. And if we're given the opportunity to explore those different avenues, then I think all of us will end up becoming better people ourselves.
Love that. Thank you so much. And we hope our queens have answered your question. We have friends here. I will go through all of you, don't worry. You'll get to ask your questions. But let's start from right here, our friend.
Thanks, actually. Hello, Pauline and Krishna. Let me just prepare my camera. Okay.
Na-distract ako sa nails mo. Ang ganda.
So my question is, through the years, the pageant fans have relatively gotten more and more thirsty for international crowns. How will the Miss Philippines organization strategize on getting our second supranational crown and an early first crown for Charm?
So the Miss Philippines Culture and Heritage Celebration, as we mentioned before, they really focus on Filipino culture and in all its different aspects. And I think if we can also bring that to the international pageant and make sure that every delegate is also very well versed in the multitude of our Filipino culture, then I'm sure that she'll be able to stand out no matter what pageant she's joining in, because she's not just representing herself then, and not just representing the name of the country, but she's representing that entire spirit of what it means to be Filipino. And I'm sure that that in itself will already make her a front runner, if not the winner.
So for Miss Charm, I mentioned a while ago that the Miss Philippines is very inclined with the Miss Charm International pageant because it's the same like culture and arts. There are a lot of similarities. And the Miss Philippines will be the first to be held before Miss Charm. So I think I can use this as a training ground as well to know more about the Philippines. And there's a lot of local artists. There are colorful crafts of the Philippines that I can use as well, because we are so distinct from different cultures and we have a lot to offer. And I can use those as weapons for me to clinch the first Miss Charm International crown.
Alright. Hi, this is Pat. Congratulating you guys, and I really cannot wait to see you guys performing on international stage. So my question for you is, the Miss Philippines is all about promoting culture. In your experience as a Filipino, why is this important?
Yeah, it really is important because joining the Miss Universe Philippines, we are representing a city or province. And it's very important and it's very vital for us to know more about our city. There are a lot of values, designers, and all that we have pulled our everyday looks from our dresses, from our gowns, and national costumes as well. So it's very important for us to be more knowledgeable about, for me, Baguio City is so colorful. You know that the arts is really evident in our city. And I also use that as one of my weapons in joining the Miss Universe Philippines, and I think it's a huge part of me getting the Miss Charm crown.
In my case, after reflecting back on my journey, I can honestly say that by getting to know Bohol better, I was able to get to know myself better too. And that's why in all my videos, even in my, am I allowed to say this? Even in my intro video for Miss Supra, Bohol is very intertwined with my personal intro because it's such a big part of who I am. And for every delegate, it's definitely also a very big part of who they are. So for us to be able to get to know our individual cultures from our own provinces or municipalities better, we get to self-discover even more, and that is definitely, as Krishna said, a weapon that we can use when we compete abroad. Because when we know ourselves the best, then we can represent ourselves even better along with the Philippines.
Hi, Krishna and Pauline. Anyone of you can answer. Why should aspiring beauty queens join the Miss Philippines pageant?
The Miss Philippines is a celebration of culture and of heritage. It will allow for so many different experiences, even outside of Metro Manila, like what we had in Eastern Visayas, that will enrich the entire journey of becoming or being a beauty queen. You get to learn more about the different ways of living in different parts of the Philippines. You get to try different types of food that you couldn't try before because you've never been there. So it's full of so many experiences. And as long as she has the discipline, I guess, to not eat all the food, then I'm sure she'll be able to have a blast and really enjoy. And I think that's what we all felt, having the opportunity to travel to 3 different locations in the Philippines with our journey. And if the Miss Philippines is already keen on really promoting culture and heritage, baka naman it will be 4 places, who knows? But these are all exciting experiences that all of us can look forward to and all of us can definitely learn from.
Okay, I'm Sherman from TikTok, and my question is, in 3 words, how do you define the Miss Philippines?
Okay, there are 3 F's. You just made it lang. The people. Define it maybe, okay, this is hard. Okay, quiz ba to? Exam ba to? Parang tapos natin yung pageant. Ayun. Maybe I will define it as okay, culture, arts, and Filipina. I mean, because culturally inclined, and there are a lot of people, I think arts is in the DNA ng mga Pilipino, and there are a lot to discover pa. There are a lot to world-class crafts that we can offer. And of course, Filipina, because I think the values of a Filipina is something that we can definitely or should share the whole wide world. So the Miss Philippines, I think, has the capability to show it, and we're very excited for it.
I've had some time to think. Thank you, Krishna. So my 3 words would be holistic, diverse, and groundbreaking. Holistic because it will involve so many different factors to make this experience as meaningful and as impactful as possible, drawing in many different experiences from all over the Philippines. Diverse because so many different Filipinas, even outside of the borders of the Philippines, can now join and bring in aspects of their culture, which we kind of all share, into this platform. And groundbreaking because it's going to be the first of its kind. It's something that all of us will be excited to watch, all of us will be excited to be part of. And we can't wait for it to have its first ever edition in the Philippines, and hopefully many more editions after that too, with all of your support, of course. Thank you.
Thank you for that, ladies. Now, before we have to cut the Q&A portion short, perhaps we would like to add another layer of questions from a very distinguished friend from the media as well. May pahabol pa, just like the last time. So, at this juncture, we've had a gist of what the Miss Philippines is all about. She's a woman of culture, eloquence, and of course, a lot of history. She has to know and really get to know her roots, and it's going to be providing an opportunity for not just Filipinas, nationally, but also internationally, because we have a lot of Filipino communities abroad. They're gonna get a chance to get to know their roots better at the Miss Philippines celebration. But we have one last question from the media.
Thank you, Annabelle. Hi, so the Miss Philippines pageant sounds super exciting for all the girls who are watching. How would you say, what would be the best way to prepare themselves for the pageant, since, very new things into this pageant journey? What would you say?
For me, just learn more about your environment. Of course, your city that you will represent, because I believe that there are a lot of undiscovered traditions, culture, all that. And for her to best represent her city, I think that she should be knowledgeable enough and have that solid foundation before joining the pageant.
Pauline?
I would suggest to immerse yourself into the culture of your province or of your city, so that you really get to bring those beautiful experiences to this platform, so that everyone else will be able to learn from what you yourself has experienced, whether it's in arts, in the food maybe, or in the different skills that your municipality might even have, which you might even know yourself. So immersion, I think, would be a good tip in this case.
Pahabol, paalam. So, do you know, allowed ba ang married also? Women with children, and is there an age group? Is there going to be an age floor or ceiling? And my other question is, since other Filipinos from abroad will be allowed to join, may residency requirement ba, since you're supposed to know a lot about the Philippines? Diba?
Ayaw naman sinisip.
But kung wala pang mga rules, okay lang naman, nagtatanong lang. Curious lang ako, di ba?
Of course, that's okay. Curiosity is always good. But those are actually details. Did I miss them in the brief, or baka you know? They weren't briefed to us yet, so perhaps we'll wait for the... Not yet. Let's just wait for the official announcement, but at least now we know. Everyone having heard that question, everyone will be waiting for that official announcement now. Thank you, Ms.
Sige, since wala pang answer, can you answer na lang briefly how you're preparing for the Miss Supra and the Miss Trans?
So I've had several meetings already with designers and with friends to be able to gather as much as possible for my 3, but technically anticipating 4 weeks in Poland. Yes, because they're expecting the winner to extend another week, so having that mindset already at this point. And I've just been trying to also get enough rest and balance everything, because we've had our trainings before Miss Universe Philippines for several months already, so I was already feeling I was already telling myself I cannot burn out before going to Poland. Like, I need to balance everything wisely and make sure that I also get enough rest, so that my body in itself is capable of handling those 3 or 4 weeks in Poland. But I've also been surrounding myself with people who help lift me up, because sometimes we can't help but doubt ourselves or feel down. So when we're surrounded by the right people, then we get that boost to represent ourselves better and to, by extension, represent the Philippines better too. That's what I've been doing at least. Thank you so much. Ayan si Krishna, dami pang time.
Ako pressure. So, I have a lot of time to prepare, but I had that 1 month off season, so I ate a lot. I ate everything. But now, I went back to training now because I don't want to be complacent as well. Even matagal pa yung pageant, I want to prepare early so that I will be in my best form. But for now, I'm just learning more about the pageant. I actually watched the entire pageant, and kudos to Annabelle, she really did good. And I also talked to her about what can I expect also for the pageant. It's really the language barrier. So now I've been learning about their language. So I had learned Xin Chào. That's the way we say hello. So I can say hello to everyone when I go to Vietnam. So for now, I'm just learning more about the pageant. And yesterday, I went back to my fitness training, and Maybe 6 months before or 4 months before the pageant, I will be more focused on my communication skills and also my pastoral team. So I am very grateful for everyone who's supporting me as early as now. There are a lot of Vietnamese people also messaging me, and they are very excited as well to see me there. And I'm so grateful for this experience. And thank you so much for everyone.
Absolutely wonderful. And on that note, we conclude the Q&A section on a high note, perhaps. So truly, it's quite refreshing to know firsthand that our ladies right here not only have the beauty of a Filipina, but the winning mindset of a Miss Philippines. But if I may pahabol akong tanong. Because actually, ladies and gentlemen, the exhibit this afternoon, dare I say, our